So welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain you queue data structure. Okay, and you will be implementing this queue data structure using JavaScript. Okay, so first of all, what is queue? Basically, queue is a linear data structure. It's a collection of the items, and mm, it is also known as a FIFO data structure. Means again, what is FIFO? FIFO is just stand for first in, first out, which means the element or the item which you have inserted first would be removed first, and the item which you have entered last which would be removed last. So for example, if you want to remove this item, okay, so you cannot directly remove this item. For this, first you have to remove this all these three values, then only you can remove this item. So the practical example, example of this queue would be any line in the shop, in the mall, the theaters, where you where the person who arrives first get the product or service first, and the person who arrives last will get the product or service last. Okay, so the operation which are performed in the stack queues, sorry, queues is enqueue, dequeue. Enqueue means just entering the inserting the element, and dequeue means removing uh, the elements. So whenever enqueue operation is performed, so it is done at the back of the, it is considered to be done at the back of the queue. Okay, and dequeue is removing an element from the front. So basically the element which was entered becomes the front, and then element which was entered last becomes the back. Okay, so let's start with the coding section. Okay, so basically we can implement a queue with data like array, linked list, and doubly linked list. So in this tutorial, I'm going to use array and singly linked list, not doubly linked list. So for this tutorial, I'm assuming that you already are familiar with the class syntax in the JavaScript. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to declare an array. This dot items. Okay, on what this dot items array is, it is a dynamic array because the queue does not have any specific length. It can intake the number, any number of elements or items. Okay, so this the, so enq, so this method enq is stands for just inserting the elements. Okay, so we are taking a value from the user and pushing it to this array. Okay, so let's implement this const, sorry, q sample, and I'm going to initialize the queue. Okay, so q sample dot, sorry, nq, and that value let be Thor, and I'm going to q sample, and I'm going to run this program. So as you can see, the Thor is inserted. So let's insert more values, Batman Superman. Okay, and you can see Thor, Batman, Superman. So in this case, the Thor is considered to be the front, and Superman is considered to be back. Okay, now you're clear with this. And so what we are going to with DQ is we are going to remove Thor, okay, because it was head, it has come first, so it will be going first out of it. So the shift. So in JavaScript, the shift method is used to remove value from the uh, 0th index of the array. And let's test this. Q. And as you can see, Thor has been removed because it has came first, and so it would be going first. Okay, and so the shift method is just removing the index 0. So now is empty. So basically it is returning the length. If it is 0, then 0, and this not operator would return the false, otherwise, sorry, true, otherwise it would return a false. So let's check this out. Okay. Okay, sorry, the is empty, so we are going to control this empty. This is false, of course. And what if we are going to comment this? Let's return true. Okay, and so what is this? So this is the last method, which implements how we are returning the head. Peak is undefined because there is no value for now, and the peak is Thor. And so that's it. And this was how you implement with the array. And now I'm going to use data structure linked list. Okay, so what linked list is consider will be considering is the head, as you know, null. So initially it's gonna be initialize. So I'm going to use a linked list node, which is like this, and this is the object. This contains the value, and the next points to the next address of the linked list, next value. Okay. Mm, okay. Um, import. Okay. So cons. So what it is going to be do is it is going to return an object with the value and the next, of course. So the value and the next, of course. Okay. So first of all, we have to check condition if head is empty or not. If this the head, then this the. So, okay. And if means the link list this there is already a value, then I'm going to use scale next new node is new node. Okay. And what is happening here is new node object is constructed of data and next. Okay, value and next, and the head is signed. Okay. So the in JavaScript the objects are passed by the reference, so they both are sharing now the same. So whenever the head is already there is something value, then I'm going to just append it to the next, which in turn would modify this head also, because both are having the same object by reference. Okay. And then I'm going to assign this node tail equal to new node, which would be the tail value. So let's see how it works. For now this all should be empty. Mm, there's I think so. Okay, there is issue. Yes, and Thor, Batman, and as you can see, the tail is Superman. Okay, you got that logic. Okay, because the objects are passed by the reference, so the head and tail, first the head and tail was same, then this condition is not met second time because there is already a value. This is the tail dot next is equal to new node, which is indirectly modifying head also, and this tail is also uh, is passed a new value, means it assigning I'm assigning it's a new value. Okay, so the tail is updated and the head is also updated. Okay, for so now let's implement the dequeue method. And for this we are going to check the condition whether this head is null or not. If it is null, then it will be returning null. Okay, and if not, then of course this dot head equals to this dot head dot next. Okay, and you can see there is no Thor. So it's just Batman and Superman. Okay, and now we are going to implement is empty or not. So for empty, and we will just return this dot head. First of all, I should clear this screen. It's too messy here. Okay, and is empty is a false, as you can see. Is already available. So what if I and you can see the head is null, tail is null, so that is it is returning true. Okay, so what about the peak? Just return the head dot value. And now you see, no, the Batman is the peak, it's a head. Okay, and I suppose I will remove this DQ. The Thor, it should returning the Thor. For confusion, I'm commenting this. Okay, yes, and so that's it for guys. Okay, so I think you will be confused now whether to use array or linked list. So my suggestion would be use linked list, because the in array, whenever you are dequeuing dq, okay, it's taking o n time, and in linked list it is just o1. So there is a time complexity difference between both. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Just if you like my content, then just hit the like button and subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you for watching this tutorial.